What is up, YouTube? This is your boy Luan back at it again with another video. And today, in this video, I'm going to be sitting down with my man Ted from the Modern Man podcast. We're going to be breaking down a lot of business credit concepts, how to actually transition from personal credit and use that and leverage that to get to business credit. So go ahead and sit back, get your popcorn ready. This one is going to be a real good one. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it.
Let's impact some men today. I think we're gonna do a great job.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Modern Man podcast. This is a podcast where we are connecting men in pursuit of their potential. We do that by embracing discomfort, cultivating community, and putting wind in each other's sails to unlock potential. And we're getting some of that wind today from my man, Lawan Hughes out of Vegas, Nevada. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Definitely happy to be here. It's a pleasure, being on your podcast, man. Really a big fan, and just looking to have good and great conversation today.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I tapped you on to be on the show because of your specific skill set, and we talk a lot about men chasing their potential themselves, starting businesses, and really kind of building streams of income. But we never really jump into how or ways to do it. So I'm excited for you to share some of the skills and some of the information and knowledge you can talk about in terms of getting capital in order to start a business. But before we start talking about that, I want to first pull back the curtain, let you introduce yourself, and then unlock a little bit of your story, man.
Yeah. So my name is Lawan Hughes from Las Vegas, Nevada, born and raised. I don't live on a strip, so a lot of people that's like the first misconception with Las Vegas. Like, oh, what hotel do you live in? We do have suburbs and schools and everything that any other city has. But so I got into entrepreneurship probably fairly young, I would say. For most people, I started my first business when I was 21, I want to
Okay.
say. So, I've been in, the entrepreneurial scene for about 10 years now, and, a lot of trials, a lot of errors, a lot of wins, a lot of losses. And I've just kind of seen a lot of different things and seen what can work and what works, now. And I just want to share that knowledge and help people as best as I can.
Yeah, man. And you talk about the wins and the losses, and that's something that hopefully we can help stack some some chips for some folks so they don't lose
Yeah.
all their pennies when they
Yes.
get hit in that game like Sonic. But
Yes.
how'd you get started in the entrepreneurial journey, man? You said at 21, because I think a lot of us when we talk about from a young age, we might have had the lemonade stand, or maybe we were selling cookies. Like our school had to sell the little chocolate bars for $1 each, and we just went out and crushed it. But at some point in time, we get bit by that entrepreneurial bug or
Yeah.
something that lets us know, like, you know what? I have the capacity to go out there and earn for myself. Because that's the big thing, we as men and just we as people need to understand is we have the power to earn outside of just a day job. We have a power to create and manifest something that will generate value for somebody else and give us money. How did your, I guess, bug bite happen of, ooh, this entrepreneurial bug got me?
Right. Yeah. For me, my family, I like to consider my family like black excellence in the highest form.
Mhm.
My great grandfather on my dad's side, they are in Louisiana, Simsport, little town outside of probably about 75 miles outside of Baton Rouge, and he had basically like a farm, and he would actually sell, grow and sell crops to his fellow, neighbors and, people in the community in the little town of Simsport. And he actually got, so big at for them at least at the time to where, the grocery stores were even buying his crops, his
Nice.
stuff that he was selling. So it kind of started there, and he had 7 kids. Most of them are girls, women, and that's kind of where we get into my story. So for me coming up, all I seen was strong, successful Black women. You know,
Mm.
these are, you know, one was my grandmother and the other were like my great aunts. So you know, all of them like medical providers, real estate agents, own, you know, brokerages, attorneys, you know, just business owners in general, and really getting after it. So I think for me at a young age, I was able to see how to maneuver, you know, in this world in the United States, just being a business owner, and again learning from a young age that, hey, like it's more to it than just working a 9 to 5. And that was the thing that, you know, was always instilled in me when I was growing up. Like I got a chance to see firsthand like how to run a business, and
Mhm.
also that, you know, that my grandparents, they didn't believe in working for somebody else. They believed in creating your own thing. So that, you know, that's kind of how that started for me.
Yeah, and that see that following those examples and to have those amazing women in your life showing you not by telling you, but by waking up every day, getting the job done, and
Yeah.
showing you through example, which is amazing. And usually that's the first step in kind
Yeah.
of going down that route. You mentioned
Yeah.
the wins and the losses, man, and for a lot of us, I mean, I've shared on an earlier episode. I took out a business loan on credit card, made an investment with it, kind of made a mistake in my approach to it, and I lost a lot of money. I've kind of recovered from that, recouped from that, but I learned the lesson, and I'm thankful that I learned the lesson, which is why I'm able to kind of shamelessly say how, how I lost $30,000 plus. But I'm able to share that so other people don't go through that. What are some
Right.
of the L's you took along the way when it came to learning how to fund a business or gain capital for a business that now has kind of been this passion of yours, teaching so many other people how to properly and ethically hack banking to acquire capital?
Yeah. So, you know, for me, as anybody, you know, you learn, even with all the great examples that I had, right? You know,
Mhm.
you still got to take those punches on the chin, right? You know, it's gonna
Yeah.
happen when you're an entrepreneur. I don't care what anybody says, like there's no perfect path, right?
Yeah.
The most successful people that you may look up to, or, you know, inspire you, or whoever that person might be, you know, they've had multiple L's, you know,
Mhm.
a whole bunch of lost businesses, a whole bunch of bankrupt business, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has it, so
Yeah.
it happens. And you know, for me, my first thing that I did, I had, obviously it's kind of cliche because I live in Las Vegas, but I had started a nightlife company,
Nice.
and it was good. You know, it started off really well, but I think the thing I had to learn, you know, and it was a hard lesson, was it's usually not good to go into business with your friends,
Mhm.
right? And you know, because everybody has their own agenda and everybody's passion and drive level is different. And so for me, like I'm like a really hungry individual. Like when I really lock into something, I'm super serious. Like I'm trying to get after it, right?
Yeah.
So everybody, what I realized was everybody doesn't have that same hunger and drive that you might have, right? And so again, you live and you learn, right? And you
Mhm.
know, in that particular business, it actually started off really well, but it turns out I was the only one that was really hungry enough for it, right? So
Yeah.
my other two business partners, you know, they when we had our first event that we had, literally our first client was Comic Con, right? It was crazy that our
Wow.
first our first client was Comic Con, but yeah, so we end up doing the after party for them here in Las Vegas, and they were doing like a lot of low budget stuff, and like we really kind of like turned it out for them, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Nice.
kind of brought this hip hop element to like the after parties for Comic Con. So imagine it's kind of like these like big gaudy you know, costumes and stuff like that, but it's like in
Mhm.
a hip hop R&B setting. It was great.
That's pretty
So
dope.
yeah, it was dope, man. It was really dope. So you know, we had a great time with that. We did great. And after that, you know, me personally, I wanted to like keep the momentum. We had a lot of friction, a lot of like, you know, positivity in
Mhm.
Vegas. You know, our name was buzzing, and I wanted to keep the iron hot, so to speak, you know. But my other business partners, they like wanted to do some other stuff, like go do other things that I thought didn't make any sense. But and so that's kind of how that fell. So like we took way longer than we needed to get that second event
Mhm.
going, that second thing. And you know, by the time we tried to transition to the next thing, like our steam blew out, you know. It took
Man,
too long.
I agree wholeheartedly with you because it's about when you talk about doing biz with friends, the
Mhm.
hardest thing, and I had one of my first mentors tell me this because I made the same mistake, man. And we probably have made similar mistakes in businesses. A lot of people listening are either have made those mistakes and they're laughing right now while they're driving down the highway, or they haven't made these mistakes yet. And I'm telling you, if you haven't, please listen to that warning because it's not that you can't do business with friends, but I do think clear cut organizational understanding has to be made. And what I mean by that is somebody has to call the shots and lead. You all have to agree on who it is because, like you mentioned, taking too long. I came into the same situation of the business I started, and like you said, you saying I thought we're good. We all have what we think would be best, but without a unified person who's going to call the shots and pick what's going to happen next, you have too many chefs in the kitchen, too many leaders, a
Yeah.
snake with too many heads. You don't go anywhere. So
Right.
it's not that either direction was the right answer, the wrong answer, because there are multiple ways you can get to the objective. But
Right.
it's just when you have someone who makes the decision and you move fast, you get to the objective one way or another. You just
Right.
make it there faster. So, man, you
Right.
are so right for saying that. And I just wanted to make sure I drove that point home for the audience is like,
Right.
if you're about to start a business with friends, make sure there is a clear line of command in how decisions get made or a broken down, like, okay, I'm going to have all logistical issues solved. You have all the marketing issues solved and you have
Right.
final call on that. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
no, and I just personally, honestly, and again, I don't wanna say like that it's impossible, like it can't work.
Mhm.
It's just in my opinion, I just think it's just not a good idea at all. And really just not so much of like the business per se, but like just if you value that friendship, you know what I'm saying? Because just like what you said, Ted, like somebody those things, those conversations have to be had, right? And
Mhm.
say for instance, somebody drops the ball on their end of the bargain with the structure of the business, right? And you guys got a great friendship, but at the end of the day, when there's money involved, things change, right?
Yeah.
So, that friendship can be in jeopardy if money is involved and especially we get into the conversations, okay, this is how you feed yourself and your family and all that stuff like that, and they're messing or jeopardizing those funds. Now things are getting serious, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I just recommend, like, it's just not a good idea more times than not to get in business, like especially like we're really like close friends, like you really like value that relationship and that friendship. It's probably best just not to do
Yeah,
it.
listen, I agree, and I can understand that because and getting into the credit side of things, doing business, and you talk about the impacts that happen with the choices you make. I
Mhm.
mentioned I'm married, I have a wife. If I make a poor business decision, the money I lost with my investment, that hits us as a family, that hits us
Right,
financially. We both have to deal with that, and she gonna be like,
right,
"Who you doing business with?"
right, right,
Whose idea was this? So no,
right.
and that's why it's so important. Let's get into somebody who, again, whether it's with friends and they have the articles of organization already signed, or they're looking to get into business or whatnot, a nightlife business. I imagine you didn't just wake up, get Comic Con, and say, "Okay, we're going to throw this." You had to have some money. You had to have some capital. You had to have a way of gathering the resources to
Yeah,
build and sell that service or product that you were selling.
yeah.
How do you go about starting that? If I'm somebody that's like, man, I have an idea, but I need some money to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, man, this is like, and I get so excited like when I'm talking about like just credit in general, just because it's so big, right? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, they're, especially now in this day and age, like everybody has the entrepreneurial bud, and rightfully so. I think it's great, and people are realizing like, hey, I got this great thing, like this great idea or whatever, and they want to fund it. And there's a lot of different methods out there. There's a lot of different, ways, and a lot of the old ways that people know, right, are like, trying to get, your done numbers and business loans and angel investors, all these different things, friends and family, personal funding it
Mm-hmm.
yourself, like all these things, right? And I'm here to tell you today they're all wrong, right? And again, not to knock anybody's strategy, not to knock anybody's thing. it's just me personally, I found, what I'm about to say now to be the most effective way. And a lot of people really kind of, they don't want to do this, but again, it's the fastest way. And I found, that leveraging personal credit to get business credit literally is the best, fastest, most effective way to get business lines of credit.
You know what I'm going to say? Why?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And the reason why that is, and and now we're getting into like ethically hacking the bank. And like a lot of
Mhm.
people they're like ethically hacking the bank. Like it's like, it's kind of like a hook
It's
word.
shocking. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's like that
yeah.
show. So like ethically hacking the bank, But like really, what it is, you built a personal relationship on the personal side with these lenders, right? Your
Mhm.
Chase, your American Expresses, your Citibanks, your US banks, credit unions, any lender, right? You built these personal relationships with them on your personal side, and now we're gonna leverage that to get our business credit. So kind of breaking that down and going more into detail on that. So say, you have, some personal credit cards, right?
Mhm.
And you treat them right. Now, and this is the first step, right? Because everybody doesn't know how to, you know, manipulate credit in their favor. We've been taught, a lot of people, especially in the Black community, to a detriment. We've been taught that, credit is bad, not to use credit. Or, everybody's had those situations, when you were 18, you were in college, you were getting
Mhm.
bombarded with credit card offers, and they gave you credit cards, no problem, when you were 18, and you out there buying clothes and shoes with it, and now you got all this debt and you can't do nothing about it. Now your credit's messed up.
Yeah.
I've talked to so many people in those situations. And again, we need to get in the habit of learning how to leverage our credit, because again, this is what the most successful people in the world do. The multimillionaires, the hedge fund owners, the billionaires. This is what they do. They hardly ever use their own money to fund anything.
So
Right.
you so you would say it starts with the step one is being responsible with your personal credit,
Yes.
understanding the game,
Yes.
because there are books that'll tell you credit's bad, debt is bad, but we actually, my wife and I leveraged our credit card. All of our expenses go through it. We pay it full. We don't pay interest on that money, and we
Yes.
leverage the points from it to take a
Yes.
significant discount on our honeymoon.
Yes. Yes. And literally this is what I'm talking about. Like it's steps to that. And like Ted, you hit it right on the head. We
Yeah.
have to leverage. And again, and not even just forget the business credit for a second, but literally what you just said, Ted, leveraging the money that you're already spending anyway and say, hey, let me sit back. Okay,
Mhm.
what can I have to spend this $200 a month on gas anyway, right? We know gas is high. I have to
Yeah.
spend this on this gas anyway. What what credit card can I get that's going to give me 5% back, or give me 4x membership rewards points on this money that
Yep.
I have to spend anyway, and then I can just transition that into cash back, or transition that into a free airline ticket, right? Or whatever the case may, whatever you're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
That's the first step, is learn to do that first. And then I'm telling you, man, like it's and you know what I'm talking about. Like it's endless what you can do. And again, forgetting the business credit for a second, like, and I don't really like to talk about myself too much, but literally, like I just use this same strategy that we're talking about here today. Like
Mhm.
me, my girlfriend, my two kids, and my mother were all flying first class, awful points.
Thank
Like
you.
I didn't
Yeah.
pay anything. Like I just paid for the taxes for the flights, and it was like I think it was like $80,
Yeah.
right? And these tickets were like $4,000.
That's the power of leveraging the expenses
Yeah,
that you're already doing each and every single day. It's power
exactly.
of knowing and understanding that, okay, there are perks to having responsible habits and basic habits and structure that will leverage, again, what we do every day. I don't have to spend more than I usually spend. I
Yeah,
don't have to change my habits or whatnot,
yeah.
except for maybe using this piece of plastic instead of a different piece of plastic.
Yeah, the middleman, use them, use the credit card companies as the middleman. And what that does is it in their eyes, it shows that you're a big spender, even though you're not out here, buying Gucci and Louis or whatever. Like you're just spending money on what you got to spend money on regardless. And
Chicken wings that just went through the roof this year.
yeah, like groceries, your kids' tuition, their soccer camp, whatever it is.
Yeah.
All these things we could put it on a credit card, right? And again, we're just using that as the middleman. And before the statement even closes, we go ahead and pay that off, right? Now everybody's happy. The credit card, they like, man, okay, now they're gonna start upping your limits and all that
Mhm.
stuff like that, and everything is gonna be working out good. And from there, that's how you got this great relationship on the personal side, and then how we can go get business credit,
How do
right?
we start that process? Okay, so
Yeah,
like
yeah,
let's say I'm actually in that position right now, right? Okay, we've been good with our card, we got our points, we have our trips, but all right, babe, I got this idea. I think this is the one. I think this is the
right,
one. Now,
right,
I can put a little money in here. I can put a little money in there, but like we talked about before, speed in business, you got to be fast. You got to
yeah,
execute because
yes,
these if this wave comes by, you might miss it. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
so I might say, okay, I got this idea, but I need 20,000 to get it started. I need 50,000 to get it started, or
mhm,
whatever the case might be.
mhm,
How do
mhm.
I start leverage that into okay, file my business and then get just go to the bank and ask for money?
No. So this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. And this part right here, people, it blows their mind sometimes, but it's really this simple. And again, I don't say anything that I haven't done myself, and I don't tell any. It's repeatable. People that are in my mentorship group, they've done the same things that I've done. So it's not. It's a repeatable process. And not. I'm not just special, right? So what we do from here, now that we built these great personal relationships with these banks, now we are going to leverage our personal credit, and we're going to get 0% APR business credit cards to fund the start and growth of our business. And
Mhm.
literally, as I sit here today, this method that I'm talking about and getting ready to share has led to me, my current business, which is a marketing company and high ticket sales as well. That's led to us doing $1.6 million in sales for that particular company. And I got the capital from this method right here. Right.
Congratulations,
So
man.
thank you. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And, and I'm not special. Again, I'm not special. I'm nobody, I didn't, come from, I'm not a multi-millionaire. I didn't come from multi-millionaire, stuff like that. Like, no,
Mhm.
like I went and got after like anybody else would, it's just knowledge,
Yeah.
that's really all it is. And that's my gift to everybody else, just showing you that it's possible, for anybody. So, um, getting back to the strategy. So basically, again, leveraging our personal credit. So now we got that in order. Now we're going to get business lines of credit, right? 0% APR. And the reason why this is so important is you can't get, for the average person, you cannot get 0% APR business loans. Not happening, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's throw that out the way. Okay, now, maybe we want to use angel investors, right? Or we want to try to get investors. All right, great. Go have fun with that. They're going to take 30% they're going to take 30% ownership of your business, and you still got to pay them back. So once you pay them back, now they got 30% ownership or 20% ownership of your business. So any profit that you're getting from the business, you got to get them 20 or 30%. Who wants to do that? Okay,
That's
let's
like
go
a
to the next.
forever tax.
Yeah, forever tax. So let's go to the next one that people like to do a lot. Friends and family. I don't know about you, but I got a lot of annoying family members, right? So if I were to go to them and ask them for money, they're gonna think that they own and run the business as well. So literally every single week, they're gonna be, hey, did you make any money with the business yet? How's it going? Well, all these questions. Nobody wants to
Mhm.
deal with that. And the final thing that people do a lot is trying to fund it personally, right? Using personal credit cards to try to fund their business, which is horrible because one of the main reasons why is it removes the corporate veil from that protection that you have. Maybe you went and got an LLC. Well, that protection is now gone because you're using your personal funds and what they call is commingling. You're commingling your personal side and your business side. So, nobody wants to get sued, but it happens sometimes. Somebody sues the business. Well, guess what? You're commingling funds. So now in the eyes of the court, you're no different than the business.
Mm.
So they can sue the business, clean that out, and then come sue you, take your house, take your cars, take your assets, your 401k, your stock, like literally all of that.
It's come for blood.
Literally, just by that simple mistake that literally so millions of people do, right? So, business credit, 0% APR, right? What this allows you to do, and this is going on today as we speak, you can get 0% APR for 12 months, 15 months, 18 months, even upwards of 21 months, no interest capital to fund your business, right? And we're not talking about, like a little $5,000 credit card. No, we're talking about 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, $80,000 of business lines of credit, 0% APR.
Now, just
Right.
to be clear, you probably still have to sustain the payments on that, or you don't have to make any payments
Monthly,
until
just minimum monthly payments, and now we're getting into the nitty gritty. And this is why I like this method so much, because on the business side, right, you're basically your personal guarantee of that, line of credit, right? So, but it's not showing up on your personal side.
correct.
So, yes. So this is on the business side. So you just leverage your personal side to get that, but this money that you're using is not showing up on your personal utilization, right?
If I could attest to that, the same time I did my business, I had my loan,
Mhm,
30,000+
mhm,
literally 6 months later, I bought a house, and they
mhm,
ran through my credit, and the house, the loan did not come up on the credit check for my house, and I
mhm,
was able to buy the house even though I just borrowed a lot of money. Because you know
mhm.
how when you're trying to buy a house and everything, they get
Yeah,
in everything.
yeah,
They look at,
yeah,
they're
they
like,
in it. Yeah.
"What'd you spend $25 on last week?"
Right,
Everything.
right,
But
right.
they didn't say anything about the loan I took for my business because it was through my LLC and zero
Mhm.
APR, the same
Yeah.
kind of method you're talking about. So you're so right. And I didn't even know that until I did it.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. And here's the thing. So even with these business lines, these business credit cards, they're a dark horse, right? So really it's building your business credit, but it doesn't show up on the personal side, and they don't even report to business credit bureaus either. Like that's
Mhm.
the crazy thing about it. So you basically just got this capital that's going to work for you, 0% APR, that's really not hurting you in any shape, any way, shape, or form.
So you said that they're what, a dark horse? What's dark
Yeah,
horse?
that's what I call them. Dark horse.
Okay. Okay.
Dark horse. Because they're riding in the background, man. They're
Yeah.
riding in the background. Nobody knows about it, but you in the bank.
Yeah, there you go. But you're in the bank. So it sounds like for like we were talking about before, having the responsible relationship, credit relationship. If
Mhm,
somebody's listening and they're like, okay, I'm ready to start my business, it would
mhm.
be smart. And something I actually was going to ask you before getting into the nitty gritty, but I just followed the conversation. But structure. It's
Yeah.
okay to kind of like bring this in on the back end, because if we're talking about, let's say, $15,000 to upstart an idea, 12
Mhm.
months, zero APR, that might sound great, but you still have to pay back that money, right?
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, hey, I got $12,000 and there's payments that's going to be on that with the zero interest APR
Mhm,
monthly.
mhm.
But if someone doesn't do the research and do the setup of the structure of maybe even understanding what the cash flow of their business might be, they they're kind of setting themselves up for
Yeah,
failure.
and that's the most important part, right? Like literally, all this is great. Like these tactics, they work, they're great. You can get a lot of money, but it's dangerous, Like so
Hmm.
you have to, and again, no business is 100% guaranteed to work. Like, I don't care what
Hmm.
anybody says. So you just have to do, your best judgment, do your due diligence, do your research, and make sure, that what you're getting ready to do, you fully believe into the best of your ability, that it's going to work. That's the best we can do, obviously. But, you just want to make sure you've done your due diligence and your research. And, when you get these business lines of credit and you're, getting ready to use it, you just want to make sure that you're, it's for a good cause and, it's for actually for a business, because again, you do have to pay that money back at some point. Right.
Yeah.
So, you got to pay that back. So, you just want to make sure that, you've done you get your ducks in a row and all that type of stuff for sure.
Man, and that's bringing it around full circle, kind of like what you mentioned when you have those examples in front of you, right? And you were taught by the women in your life that
Yeah.
you go out and get it. and that built the self-esteem to understand that you have
Yeah.
the capacity, you have the ability. And with that thought process in mind, for anybody
Yeah.
listening, why wouldn't you bet on yourself? Why wouldn't
Yeah.
you invest in yourself? Because you have companies that are probably paying you a wage or a salary or hourly, but they are
Yeah.
paying you to do something. You literally start paying yourself to do better, and you bet on yourself, which is why it's so important. And you, as you said, Luan, it's all knowledge, man.
Yeah.
All
Literally.
knowledge.
Literally. Like it's crazy just with knowing and these things that we're talking about here today. It took me years to learn this stuff, man.
Mhm.
Like literally, it took me
Yeah.
years
And
to learn.
I don't want the listeners to have to go through the same amount of years to learn. And you're
Right.
out there willing and ready to give this information and mentor and help people go through this process. So, for anyone out there looking to start a business, hop into entrepreneurship, they have that idea, they have that thought, and they want to get started. I want to make sure they have the ability to connect with you, follow you, get to your channel, learn some of the advice, the tips, and the advice you give, man. How can they connect with you?
Yeah. So with me, I'm sure Ted he'll put the link up. I have a free training that I do, basically going into more detail about business credit, how to leverage your personal side and all these things. So I'm sure he'll put the link up there, and you'll be able to click that link, sign up for this free training, and then watch it. If everything sounds good to you, you can go ahead and book a call with either me or one of my team members, and then we'll go ahead and sit down with you and have a strategy session, see where you're at right now, see what business you're looking to start, all these different things, and see what we have is a good fit for you. Us basically coming in, being a partner inside of your business, not taking any profit margins from you or anything like that, but
Mhm.
like I said, just help you, that mentorship, giving you the guidance, not only helping you with business credit and showing you these strategies and implementing them inside your business, but also just consulting with you as well. Like we've helped a lot of our people in our mentorship group get their businesses started. Obviously, I have a marketing company, so I help a lot of people with their marketing, their social presence, their online presence, all these type of things. And we literally just help with all those elements inside your business that are so vital and so important. So it's not just
Yeah.
business credit. We help with a lot of things, but obviously it starts with getting the capital, right? So that's the first thing we lock in on, is getting that capital, and then we go from there.
Absolutely, man. And that's perfect. I'll have those links in the show notes and whatnot. Anybody that needs the service, I'm sure they're gonna go ahead and click it right now on all of the links that they are on the show notes right now.
Right.
Last question, man. Uh, what event has happened in your life that has shaped your perspective of the world as a man? I know it's a heavy question. And you kind of alluded to it earlier with some of your upbringing, but it's a new question I'm asking at the end. Is what's happened to you in your life that's helped shape your perspective of the world, man?
Um, Man, that is a really loaded question.
You're like, how much time we got left?
Yeah, it's a loaded question. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like just life in general is like everything, like things happen and it just kind of changes your mindset, and people always talk about like mistakes you made or, whatever, but I feel like those form who you ultimately become.
Hmm.
Right. And I think for me, um, man, like that is so tough. Like it's a tough question. Like that's a good question. I
You
do
didn't think
like
I
the
was gonna
question.
let you off easy, did you?
Man, yeah, that was a tough one. Man, like I honestly, I really have to go with the upbringing for me. Like just my those women that I speak of, like they've been so instrumental in my life. And a lot of times they didn't even know it. Like a lot of times I'm not even really like asking them questions per se, but it's just watching them, just watching how they go about life and how they move, and just how they've been able to just have tremendous amount of success up to this point. So I think for me, having them as role models, and being able to look up to them, and obviously some of them are still alive today, so I can still consult with them on a
Mhm.
lot of different things. I try not to, because I try not to be like just a bugaboo, but I kind of just I've learned. I'm an observer, so like I learn a lot. Just I don't even have to talk to people, I can just observe what they're doing and just learn a lot.
Mhm.
So, just having access to them and just being able to just watch them from afar sometimes has helped me tremendously. So, for anybody that's listening, obviously, maybe you won't have people like that, but what I would recommend is just, have a mentor at the very least. There's always somebody that you maybe know, or maybe from afar, like that you can just watch and just emulate. Because I always tell people it's so important to surround yourself with people that are better than you. Like
Yeah.
a lot of times people, they're the best person in the circle. Like, and that's not good.
You in the wrong circle.
Yeah, that's not good, man. Like especially when you're trying to grow, like you want to be the worst person in the room if you can,
Mhm.
and that's what I always try to be. Not to say that not to say that you're better than anybody in life, but like you just want to just always, be in a position to grow, right? So
Yeah.
I'm always trying to learn. Like I'm never a hater. Like if somebody's doing something better than me, hey, man, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
can I pick your brain? Like, can I sit and watch? Like, I'm that type of person, man. I'm not hating on anybody. Like if you came said to me today, like, man, I got this other thing. Oh yeah, let me. Well, yeah, sure. How
Mhm.
you doing that? Like, I'm that type of person, man, because I'm trying to get after it by any means necessary. So
Nice.
it's like I'm not hating. I'm not. Oh man, I got my way. Like, nah, hey, if he getting after it, man, let me try to learn how he doing it.
Yeah.
So I
Show.
think that's the right mindset for people to have. And once you have that and kind of get that haterism out of your bloodstream, man, you'll be able to grow.
Man, Lawan Hughes, content creator, financial expert, dude. I appreciate you being on the show today. This has been a lot of fun, and thank you for the value you gave our listeners, brother.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it, Ted. Hope your audience really, get something out of our conversation today. And
Yeah.
yeah, pleasure being on. Thank you.
No, definitely. And I'm going to recap a couple of the gems you left along the way for people, as I always do at the end. The wins and the losses, right? Whenever we start business, or honestly, living life itself comes with the wins and the losses. We take the dubs, we take the L's. But at the end of the day, we keep getting up, we keep fighting. Following those examples that's laid out in front of us, how much we can learn. And even though we have those examples, we're still going to have to get in the ring at some point in time and take those punches along the way. Starting businesses with friends, be careful, be cautious, be smart, and you don't always have to do it. We didn't say it's impossible, but maybe it's not preferred. And I have a great idea. So many of us have a great idea. Ideas are a dime a dozen. $1 million ideas are all over the place. You can pluck them out of the air. It's the execution that's important, and you need capital in order to do it. Learning to leverage your personal credit. First, having responsible credit usage and using that to get a 0 APR business credit card can give you the funds you need to fund that idea. And if you really believe in it, bet on yourself. Go out there, execute it, because the availability of these funds, like Juan said, it's a dark horse. It's great, but it's dangerous, and do it responsibly. Guys, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you rocking with us all the way to the end. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button for a new episode each and every single week. Leave us a rating so you can let us know how we're doing and where we could improve so we can better serve you, or put in the comments any topics, questions, or any ideas or current events you'd like us to cover on the episode, and we will find the experts for that. We appreciate you rocking with us to the end. And as we always say at the end of the episode, everybody wants the sunshine, but they don't want the rain. But you can't get the pleasure without first the pain. Let's grow.